Morning, new week. Just rolling around under the C10, working out where I can put a fuel sender in this drop tank. And it's a little bit on the tricky side. We've got it tucked right up in the cross members, as well as not sort of hanging it too low, because I really need about 70 to 75 litres in this thing, because the owner's talking about getting me to build a fairly hotty motor for it. So yeah, it won't be the most fuel efficient thing in the world. So we'll mark that out, and then we'll go upstairs and see if we've got a sender and an adapter, or at least the adapter to get it welded in. See you in a bit. Okay, so this little corner is going to be our spot. The only thing that concerns me is potentially the height of the sender, so we'll have to have a bit of a look at that in a minute. Hope everyone had a good weekend. I actually really enjoyed working on the Monaro on the weekend. There wasn't much really else worth doing. Sun did come out yesterday afternoon, but sort of just enjoyed a bit of a chill arvo on the couch. And yeah, it was nice to get some work done. Sue's actually just headed down to Rare Spares now to get me a couple of rust sections that I think will make life a little bit easier. But it turns out we actually do have a sender, and we do have one of our machined inserts for the tank. I think height could be our challenge, but we'll go and see if we can make it work. So height is going to be our problem. I can't tuck that in that corner, so really where it needs to go is it needs to go in this top box, which would actually be a fairly good representation of fuel level, but I can't have it higher than the height of that because that's right up to the bed floor. So I'm going to have to make a countersunk section and weld that into the tank. So bear with me, hang on, it'll happen. So if we take that corner out and flip that and refit it to the tank, then we can weld in our sender adapter that we have machined up, and that should get a really good read from there and not hit our floor up here. Unfortunately, it probably costs us about a half a litre of capacity, but well, that's just gonna have to be how it is. Alright, so that's our square cut out of that corner. Obviously everything's going to need to be scotch-brighted, cleaned up and all the rest of it. That would be an absolute mongrel to weld in there. So I think the best thing is to weld it from the underneath. Well, while that cools down, I've got to say, we had some parts machined a little while ago out of aluminium for a few different fuel tank jobs. And yeah, I don't know what they're machined out of, but that welds like shit. It doesn't matter how clean it is. It's just really furry and dull looking, and I have had trouble with pinholes in them, so that's a bit of a pain in the ass. But I think that one welded up all right. Obviously we'll pressure test it and all the rest of it anyway, but yeah, probably going to have to work on that. So we just got done welding our fuel sender piece in there. So we'll let that cool down, bolt the sender in, and then give it a leak check. Fingers crossed she's... So as I'm sort of wrapping up this tank, getting it ready to leak check and send out the powder coat, I remembered the other day that it'd be good to have a bulkhead fitting mounted on the corner. Just gets that line over by the chassis supported, so we can have a nice line running out of the tank up to the fuel pump. So I'm just going to make a tab up now and weld that on for a bulkhead. So just got a fitting screwed into that tank there, and I want to measure out to find center, so I know where the center is of this tag I've got to make. Of course I'm getting as blind as a bat without my glasses. We're looking at about 54 mil. So that's, we want that fuel line to run nice and parallel with the tank. Yep, that'll be the go. 54 mil. So we've got our tag made and welded on there. That'll aim that bulkhead nicely over to that fitting that comes out of the tank. So we just go and do one more mock fit in the car, then we'll leak check it one more time, and then it'll be out for powder coat. Well, it's the next day, pretty bright and early actually, and just back on the C10 this morning. Started cleaning up all the inside of the floor and everything. Really only pulled the carpet up because we're rewiring the truck. Need to run some wiring up the what would be the trans tunnel, as well as some airbag control lines and things like that. Man, I knew like the condition or what this truck was when it was sold to this guy, because we've done an extensive amount of work already, fixed a heap of rust in the tub and basically rebuilt all the tub, rear chassis section. Yeah, the list is pretty long actually that we've already done to this truck, but I'll tell you what, this truck came from a workshop in Queensland and it was built, I don't even know really how to describe this, but it was owned by a shop and it was built as a bit of a internal shop project, and then sold. I want to show you some stuff here. Check this out. It's a bit dark, I apologise, but check out the work on these floor sections that have been put in here. And then we come over to the shifter hole. We'll just self tap a bit of tin in there. That'll make that all good. Truck's been painted, but we got rust holes under the seals on the door jambs. Oh, we need to mount an air tank. That's alright, we'll just drill all these holes in the floor and we won't seal them, we'll just leave them wide open. So if you go to a shop or if you go anywhere and there's a really cool shiny vehicle that you're looking at buying, take someone with you who can look past the shiny paint and get right into the spots that they know are going to be trash if they haven't been done properly. Alright, let's get over to the right hand side. So we just got bare steel that's already rusting. There's patch over patch over patch in that corner. You probably won't be able to see it, but that's daylight straight down through the rocker panel. Rust holes, doesn't matter, you just paint blue over that, that's fine. We've got a heater delete panel, which I think is zinc seal. However, there is no sealer on that whatsoever. Holes in the firewall everywhere. So I reckon I'm probably going to be in here for a fair while getting all this sorted out. I just can't believe that anyone who owns a workshop now on their social media pages and all the rest of it, some of the cars that come out of this place actually look really, really, really good. But even if you're doing a flip car or something like that, as a business owner, surely you would make it known to the customer that this is just, you know, lipstick on a pig, it's the right price, send it out the door. I don't know, like surely you'd have to be upfront with that. This is just junk, and this poor guy, you know, paid up for this truck, and of course now we've got to try and put it all right. Yeah, bad deal. Take someone who knows what they're looking at. Okay, so it's much later in the morning now. In fact, it's just about lunchtime. So wire wheeled the entire floor and brushed on a big thick coat of KBS rust seal. So I'm going to let that set up and then re-seam seal all their joins with actual seam sealer, not roof and gutter sealant, and yeah, then we can put some insulation in and start moving forward again. We'll get there, it's going to be good. Well, we're back into the C10 next day, and just got all the floor, got all the sound deadener rolled out, and some strips up the plenum, and basically covered the whole floor in sound deadener. So obviously, you know, it makes it look heaps better. It's obviously going to be under carpet, so no one will see it. But I guarantee you, it feels pretty good when you get all that rolled out. Everything's all sealed, everything's legit now. So yeah, check it out. So we got that all rolled out up the back wall, all over the floor, right up the firewall. Use some offcuts and strips down the plenum. You actually don't have to cover every inch of the steel with this stuff, and it makes a huge difference, but I do on the floor and on the firewall because it obviously has insulating properties as well. But yeah, feeling much happier about that now. Progress, we're getting there. So just back onto some fabrication work now. Just making up some compressor brackets for the C10. So nice little 90-degree bracket with some dimple dies in it for a bit of strength. Just got to make up some corner gussets now because there's a fair bit of weight hanging off of that when they're mounted. So we'll cross over to the other side and make up the other one. So just laying under the C10 here, bolting the air compressor brackets in. I'm really getting a bit old for this kind of upside down on the concrete deal, but with a full workshop we've got to do what we've got to do. Check it out. So that's our brackets. We've actually got them mirrored left and right. Other one will go over here in a sec. But that tucks that right up out of the way. Can't see anything at ground level. And it'll put those noisy things as far away from the driver as possible. You can see the Watts link set up and the chassis work that we'd previously done with the notch and all that kind of bizzo. Anyway, get it done before the blood rushes to my head too much. Well, back again, Saturday morning. That week just flew by. Got heaps done on the C10 though, so that was good, and put quite a few hours in after hours on the Monaro. So I reckon, fingers crossed, I'll have 80% of this car in epoxy today. So where I left off last night, I finished grinding down all the welds on the repairs on the passenger rear quarter and rear dog leg. So driver and passenger side dog legs and large section of the wheel arch has been replaced. Sue did a heap of sanding for me yesterday. God bless your wife. And so I'll spin the camera around. So we've still got lower half of that wheel arch, inner sill there, that pillar, and along that sill to bare metal yet. So Tyler's coming in this morning, I'll get him straight onto that. And then last night, so all that's been bare metalled, brushed on rust converter, few little pits and that we wanted to sort of get treated, so we'll bare metal all that again today. Give it a real good wash down with thinners and a wax and grease. But yesterday, before I left, I actually opened up the passenger side sill back about 600 mil. There was some rust in the bottom here, in the front corner. It only went back about 200, but I wanted to get all the crap out of there and basically cut till I saw really good steel. And so rust converter right up in there, basically sent the pressure pack up in there and then followed it with an air blower and blew it all the way up in there. So this morning I'm going to put some KBS coatings in a spray gun and fill that until it runs out of the drain holes. And then I'm just going to open up this corner. This one looked absolutely solid as when we bare metaled it, but I'm just going to open up that front corner and just make sure that everything's as good as what I think it is, because I'd rather fix it properly while we're going. So anyway, that's the mission, so let's get into it. So just got that old booger welded in there. We'll have a look. So that's all welded in, time to start grinding the welds down. Got Tyler over there standing like a champion. busy day. Well, that was a huge thrash. It's 1 o'clock here, Saturday now. Tyler's just finished up. Start of the day, I sort of knew what I wanted to do, but you know, it doesn't always go to plan. So got both seals fully rust repaired, all sealed inside, all new pieces made, fully welded, metal finished. Got some more metal finishing done around the wheel arches and stuff that I didn't get a chance to do during the week. And we've got that whole remaining area all bare metalled, scotch brighted with thinners, wire wheeled heavily, you know, to clean all the rust converter up. So we'll just have a quick little walk around here now. So all door jambs and quarters and all that deal, all clean as a whistle, ready for epoxy primer to seal it all up. There is a big hit here that I'm going to have to fix. However, I've just got too much bare metal to sort of leave it sitting around, and my biggest thing is I never quite know, you know, when I'm going to get to be able to put a day in. So everything's repaired, everything's been rust converted, then bare metalled again, clean within an inch of its life. So let's get this thing sealed up. So just about to mix up some primer. So we're using the Resto Finish epoxy primer. I reckon it'll definitely take a couple of cups to get around this, probably 3 actually. 3 600ml cups for a 2 coat, so I reckon it'll be the deal. So we'll get the lids open and get some stuff stirred up. Got everything covered up in the workshop nicely. Can't wait till this paint booth arrives and gets set up properly. But yeah, like I said, we've started this now, so it's time to seal her up. So this epoxy's mixed up 4 to 1, and then I've reduced that down 20% thinners as well. Just get it to lay down a little bit flatter. Using a 2.5 inch 2.5 nozzle on the gun, and laying it down at about 40 psi just to try and get it to push down and lay a bit flatter. Just saves a little bit of sanding out. So I've been lucky enough that that's what Brendan, the man in the know, has been teaching me a lot of this stuff lately. Just trying to get used to modern paint systems, because most of my experience was older stuff, as well as mostly industrial style enamels, doing semi-trailers and chassis and things like that. So yeah, always learning and always ready to know something else to help get the job done.